Good evening, Ohio. James Ernest of the Grueling Truth Radio Network here with Miranda Gordy. Miranda, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I understand you recently won the SWE Women's Championship. Is that correct?
I did. I won it from Jazz. Everyone remembers Jazz from the Attitude Era. You know, the anti-diva, like the fighting female phenom, Jazz. And I took the belt from her.
Oh, my. Yeah, I was going to say, we're big fans of her around here. We've had her on the show. She's amazing. And, yeah, I was going to say, I know she's got other belts, so it's probably not going to kill her to lose one of them. She's got such a large collection.
Oh, she is highly decorated. Probably the most highly decorated woman wrestler. She's amazing, and so it was an honor to even be in a match with her.
So break down that match for us.
Well, it was short and sweet and to the point. As far as SWE, I had not had a title shot, and I wanted my title shot, and I took the opportunity, and I got it. I got the title. So, and it really was, the show will air, the episode will actually air on Fight TV in about 4 weeks. So, I hate to give it up, but, you know, some people already know. So,
no worries.
Yeah, yeah, in 4 weeks you can watch the match, and like I said, it's short and sweet and to the point. So.
Awesome. And the best thing is, you said the secret word, you said Fight TV, and of course, later on, we're going to talk all about how Fight TV is where you can see the Independent Wrestling Expo. So before we get to that, though, we want the fans to learn more about you before we learn about the Expo. So tell us, what sports did you play growing up?
I actually, I started in ballet, and I moved to Taekwondo. And I did Taekwondo for a couple of years, and then, like middle school, high school, I did swim team.
So it's probably a dumb question, but who trained you?
It's not a dumb question. I actually get asked all the time. My main trainer is Knight Davis, and he ran XCW in Denton, Texas for years, and we just happened to find each other. I was interested in training, and, you know, he's in Denton, I lived in Denton, and we hooked up. And while I was there, I had the opportunity to work with a lot of really good people. Tom Howard was a big influence, and he trained people like John Cena and Samoa Joe, people like that. And then recently, I had the opportunity to work with Ember Moon.
Oh.
She is the head trainer at the dojo now, and so I've got a lot of really good influences in training.
So who was at the dojo with you? Who were the other students?
Just other wrestlers. Besides Athena being the main trainer, some of the other students would be like Killa Kate Folan, who is also on the Expo. I wrestled her on Friday. There was another girl named Uju, and then a lot of guys like Matt Locke. Matthew Palmer he's a well-known Texas wrestler. That's Athena or Ember Moon's husband. He also helped with training. And then just a couple of green, just fresh wrestlers trying to learn something.
That is awesome. So who have you wrestled for?
I have been everywhere. So the main companies that I wrestle for now are SWE. That's my main one. Texoma Pro. I'm also the champ there. And then USA Championship Wrestling in Jackson, Tennessee, which I'm also the women's champ there. Those are the three main ones that are consistent. Of course, I'm always open to wrestling in new places, like anywhere, up in Missouri, or Oklahoma. I think I just did something in Minnesota not too long ago, so I'm open for everywhere.
So what's your favorite match so far?
My favorite match. I I would say, like, the one that I show people would be either of my matches that I had in Japan in February. I got the opportunity to go for a show, and then I got some extra shows put on me while I was out there. And I worked for DDT Pro, and I had a match with a girl named Saki, and we had a really good fight. It was really, really good, a lot of back and forth, and of course, being in Japan, that also makes it a highlight for me, but that was probably my favorite.
Of course, would be remiss to not mention the family angle. Tell us about your father.
I guess, what do you want to know? He's my dad. He was a wrestler. He's a Hall of Famer. I guess, growing up, most people in the States, they relate him to the Freebirds, and obviously, like, Michael is my godfather, and I love Buddy and Jimmy Jam, but when I was a kid, I was born in '89, so when I was a kid, my dad was going to Japan. So what I remember the Giant Bobbas, the Stan Hansens, the Dr. Death stuff. So that's kind of my influence as far as watching my dad's stuff and what I remember.
Makes sense, and that's why your matches over in Japan mean so much more to you. That makes a lot of sense. So tell us about your illegitimate brother, Abyss. Not just kidding. I think he looks kind of like your dad. He's my neighbor. I always like to throw his name into the interviews, but yeah, he kind of reminds me of your dad in just his in-ring performance and his just stature.
Oh yeah, he's a big guy. You never know. Who knows? Anything's possible. He might be an illegitimate brother. I don't know. He might be a long-distance cousin. Who knows?
Definitely. Yeah, I was going to say, in wrestling, all of that could be true, and none of it could be true. That's the beauty of wrestling.
It can be true. Just have him write a storyline. It can become true.
Exactly. And speaking of storylines and all that fun stuff, Andrew Anderson, I talked to him earlier today. What's your thoughts on the Reinforcer?
Oh, I love that guy. I love him. He's a mess. He's a lovable mess. No, he's a reinforcer. He's Andrew Anderson. He's like, when you think of a wrestler, you think Andrew Anderson. Like, he's the wrestler, So, like, he's been everywhere and done it all, and he's my buddy. I love him to death.
I agree with you. Seems like a great guy, and we've had him on the show before, and he seems to be that wrestler's wrestler. That, like you said, he's been everywhere, he's done everything, and just has a fountain of knowledge to teach the next generation.
Oh, absolutely. And he's just a good all-around dude. Like, he knows everybody, and he just has a good time. So, yeah, love him.
So, more with the family. Your brother also wrestles. Does he still wrestle?
He does not. He is not in, since he left the WWE, he was there from like 2006 to 2009, I think, somewhere along there. And, ever since he left the WWE, he has not wrestled. Though I do try to, put a bug in his ear, like, hey, maybe you should tag team with me or something.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. That would be so cool, an intergender tag match with you and your brother. I mean, just that whole family synergy thing would be so cool. Currently, what's the best thing about professional wrestling?
Oh, the best thing about professional wrestling is that I guess, all around, the fans or the wrestlers, you get to escape reality for a minute. Breaking kayfabe, you get to enter into this world of a show, like, and, as a wrestler, you're like, cool, I get to beat someone up this weekend. You get to, relieve a little stress, and then as a fan, you're like, I get to be entertained. I get to see these really awesome, larger-than-life people kick each other's butts, and I don't have to think about, all the stress at work this week. I think that's the best thing about it.
So before we go on to the Fighting Words and the Independent Wrestling Expo, the meat of the matter, we want to give out your social media stuff so our listeners can learn more about you, so where you can see you on the web. So where on social media, where on the web should they follow more about you?
I am on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Miranda Miranda Gordy. If you just type in Miranda Gordy, I should pop up. I keep it super simple. Even YouTube, I don't have a lot on there. You can look up Miranda Gordy on YouTube. You can find some older matches. So I need to update that. That you can look on Pro Wrestling Tees under Gordy. If you're looking for merch, you can find Terry Gordy or Miranda Gordy merch there.
That is awesome. Now, what is Fighting Words? Who are Fighting Words?
Fighting Words, that would, I believe, is the company that is, doing the whole thing. Kyle Hessler, I believe, is the one that runs it, and he's the kind of the main guy running the Expo.
Excellent. So tell us about the Expo. What all kinds of fun things can our listeners get into? What can they experience at the Expo?
Well, obviously wrestling. There's going to be 3 different shows. One Friday night, one midday Saturday, and then one Saturday night. You can do like meet and greets. There's going to be some awesome people like Jake the Snake and I think Nick Aldis and like Moonshine Mantell and Chandler Hopkins and Malico and there's a bunch of big names. Like I can't even remember all. There's just Jordan Grace is going to be there. Thunder Rosa will be there. A lot of the women wrestlers from Texas. You can do meet and greets. Obviously, opportunity to buy merchandise. There's going to be a body contest. 3 shows. Just hanging out, getting out of the house, no longer in quarantine. Even though they are going to be very safe, they have a lot of safety measures in place. If you're worried about that, the mask regulations and social distancing and a limited amount of people being there.
So since you beat Jazz, are you taking over her spot doing the training seminar or I forget what it was. She's doing a lecture or something like that. Does that mean you have to do that now?
No, she is. I'm just now starting. I have no place to be coaching anybody. She is a wealth of knowledge. It's her seminar. Her and Rodney Mack. They have a school in San Antonio called the Dog Pound, and they actually just did a huge, great seminar this past Saturday for SWE. And hopefully the Expo has the same outcome. Because it was really great. Like, they had Tim Storm and Rodney Jazz, a couple other people. The seminar, people paid and came, and they learned a lot. Like, I even learned some stuff. So, hopefully that's what they're doing at the Expo. You get to learn from all these great minds in the seminar.
So, night 1, what's your match?
Night 1, I have a 3-way with Killa Kate Folan and Erica Torres. I actually, this past Friday, wrestled Killa Kate, so I know what she's about. Like, I'm keeping her in check. So I kept my title. It was a title defense. I kept my title, but, you never know what'll happen Friday. So that is my match on Friday.
What about night 2? What about Saturday? Do you have another match?
I do. I am wrestling Jordan Grace on Saturday.
During the
heat,
right?
I know. Do what?
During the halftime heat or something?
Possibly. I am not sure which one it's on yet.
Oh,
I don't have the fine details. But that might be it.
Yeah,
yes.
I think you were during the heat, which is, I was going to say, Devin, I was talking to him, Devin Storm, was telling us all about the event the other day, and he said that was one of the highlight matches of the heat, was going to be your big match. He was saying great things about it.
Oh, yeah, I've heard several people, like, this is like a dream matchup, so, I actually tagged with Jordan yesterday. We had a tag match, and now I get to face her this weekend, and I think that people have wanted this because, we're kind of in the same range as far as, like, size and sorry. So, okay. I think that people really want to see this match. So, I'm excited for it myself.
So, where can listeners get tickets?
I believe you can go to the website. I know that I constantly post links on Twitter and Facebook, and you can go to probably the Fighting Word website.
Excellent. And also on Tix, Tix. You can get them there. And then,
okay.
No worries. I was going to say, you're not the first one.
I wasn't sure who they were going through.
No worries. You're not the first one on that one. I was going to say Otto and Snoop are in the same boat. Now, of course, I'm going to give you a fighting chance to guess, and actually we already kind of mentioned it earlier, of where people can watch this match, the same place they can watch your world title match.
Oh, on Fight TV, yeah.
Yes. I mean, that is such a great place to see professional wrestling, MMA, and so much more. And for a nominal fee, you're going to get to see this event that I think is going to be kind of a historical event. Now, I've talked to some people higher up, and they say there's a possibility because of how great this is looking like it's going to be, that they might do more of these.
Well, that would be great. Like, especially as everyone starts coming out of the house, I think that people are ready to just really bust out and have a good time, and everyone's always down for a wrestling expo, so.
Exactly. And I mean, it's just so amazing bringing people from different promotions together, matches you never thought would happen. I mean, you got AEW, you got MLW, you got Impact. Those are just the three big ones, and you got so many more organizations that I can't even name them all, and I'm not even going to try to pretend like I could. So, I mean, it's just so amazing what they're doing. SWE, for example, with you. I mean, just so many great promotions coming together to basically an all-star game, a Super Bowl, maybe even something bigger than that. I'm sure I'm underselling it at this point. So
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be big. Like I said, I could even name. I'd have to look at a list. Oh yeah, this person is coming. But it's so many people. So it's gonna be great no matter what.
Exactly. So before we let you go, let's see. You mentioned about his time in Japan. Any other stories that you want to share with us about your father growing up? Any happy stories? Good stories.
Oh, I mean, there's tons of. He was my dad. One of the things that people always ask, were you his fan? And I'm like, he was just my dad. He took us to go get ice cream and taught me how to ride a bike without training wheels, and so. Sometimes it was cool when people wanted autographs and stuff. Sometimes we got free pizza or something like that. So that he was just my dad, I guess.
That is cool. Now that's awesome. That just that down to earth, and like you said, people from being an outside perspective, they don't see him that way. They think of him, they think legend. But like you said, because he's your dad, you think of all those great times together. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So before we let you go, where can we find you on social media on the web, and where can we find the event on social media and the web?
You can find me and information on the event on Twitter at Miranda Gordy, on Instagram at Miranda Gordy, and on Facebook at Miranda Gordy. I obviously post about me, but I'm constantly posting about the Fighting Words Independent Wrestling Expo constantly. So you can find both there.
Sounds great. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you so much again for having me.
My pleasure.